Here we are underneath the CREST instrument, and this is our problem PMT. This is bottom 5B, and first thing you want to do is disconnect it from the power and the signal. And once you've done that, we're going to take some clippers and we're going to disconnect them from the mounting right here. So we're going to snip this here. So you can get this here. Unsnip. Make sure you grab the PMT so it doesn't fall. There's two that you're going to have to snip. And there we go. All right. Now once you've snapped it and released it down, we're gonna create something similar to this. It'll vary depending on wherever you put it. But the idea is that you want to have these two clamps in such a place to hold the PMT. Now you want to keep in mind that you need some working space up here with the PMT, so you probably want to put the clamps about midway, or I'd say 2/3 up the PMT. And all the way down to the bottom. So that's probably going to be the best clamping points to hold the PMT for the unwrapping and the removal of the folga. Alright, so we had to do a little bit of wiggling around with our setup here to reduce the stress on the folga here. We want this stem to not be very bent and not be stressed at all, so we had to move that around. And it's an important thing at this stage to keep in mind that we're just holding the PMT, all right? It doesn't have to be level or anything like that for gluing purposes, because we'll readjust later. But right now I'm going to show you how to take off the Tedlar cone right around the top of the PMT, and for that we need an X-Acto knife. All right, now I'm going to go over some terminology really quick. Right here we have the stem of the folga. That's encased by a rubber tubing there. And then we have the calibration fiber that you can see right here. And then we have our Tedlar cone right here at the top of the PMT. And then right here, right around where it gets really fat, that's actually our PMT. So that should be pretty firm right there. So we'll cut that all the way right along here, right where it gets all squishy. So that's where we're going to start cutting. All right. So the first thing we'll probably want to do is pull the calibration fiber off just a little bit like this. You don't want to stress it too much. But then we'll cut right down along here and kind of separate this calibration fiber from the stem of the folga. All right, and we want to cut it down like so. We don't want to cut that calibration fiber. Keep pulling it away. It's important. These calibration fibers get bent along here to some degree, so you want to make sure which way it's bending. It might bend away from me, it might bend to me, so I want to be cautious about that. Looks like this one's bending away from me, so I'm going to kind of cut down along here. I kind of just felt around for it to make sure that it was bending the other direction. I'll cut it out just like so. And once we can get in this cone, we can see better where I'm going with some things here. So, let's see. It's important that when we're cutting around this, that you want to cut where it's really nice and squishy. So you see I keep feeling for where things are squishy. Anything hard we don't want to cut. Anything squishy is just Tedlar. So that's kind of where we want to go. All right, now I thought this was an interesting shot right here to show you. As you can see, I've done some cutting away here. And this just shows you kind of where these calibration fibers go. They come in here and they go right down through, this would be the Tedlar cone right here, and then you can see it goes right into the folga here. This is an important thing to look at here, because you might say, why should we care about this calibration fiber? Well, this calibration fiber is actually connected to the disc of our folga here, as you'll see later. And so this is actually going to be still flight hardware. We're not going to replace this one if the folga is not bad. We're just replacing the PMT down here. So this cal fiber actually goes to the folga, so we don't want to cut it. Now this is an important piece to take a look at here. As you can see, I've removed this all the way down to where we have the Tedlar just wrapped right around this calibration fiber, and it's proving very difficult to remove this wrapping from the calibration fiber. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to cut all this off here. There we go. And as you can see, we still have some on here. That's not very important. We can slide this down around the base here, or even leave it right where it's at, quite frankly. It doesn't really matter. But the last thing we want to do is nick this calibration fiber and make this a folga replacement instead of just a PMT replacement. All right, now as you can see, I have removed all the wrapping here. This wrapping here is the Tedlar cone. And this right here is the Tedlar disc, and it actually goes right on the back side of the folga disc that attaches to the face of the PMT. So the way to do this is there's a little gap. You can see it's kind of squishy around the outside here, and that's where the folga disc, there's a little air gap. And you can see I was able to find it right there. And you can just cut right along here like so, You don't want to jab the X-Acto knife all the way down because you'll hit the face of the PMT, which if it's bad won't matter too much, but we like to preserve those as much as possible. So we're just going to cut right along here, just like in a nice big circle. And so let me go ahead and do that here. As you can see here, we have cut all the way around this Folga disc here, and I can peel this up and you can see that Folga disc right there in the optical plating. So what we're going to need to do here is cut right along here, cut a nice slit right there, in which we can start peeling this disc away. Now it's important, this calibration fiber has been completely encased in tape here, so you have to be careful around the junctions here. And if worst case scenario, just leave a little bit of Tedlar. It won't hurt anything in this area right here, so we can tape right over it later. So just start cutting as best you can all of this away to remove this little flap here. All right, now as you can see here, I've cut the Tedlar disc all the way off here, and you'll notice I left all of this stuff, and you might say, oh, that's ugly, you should remove it. But this will actually make this a lot easier to light tight later. You see this tape is directly on the Folga disc. That was just to create a backing so any light leaks didn't actually make it all the way through. So go ahead and leave all that. It'll help us later. You can see this tube will slide up and down just a wee bit. You don't want to do that too much. Stress the fibers a little bit, but other than that, I think this is just about ready to be removed completely. All right, and we're back here. So now, typically you would want to take your X-Acto knife right along the Folga disc here and cut all the way around it. And what you're doing here is making a break in the seal between the RTV and the Folga disc so that you can remove it. And hopefully it would go ahead and just automatically separate and pop off at this point. However, for a point of illustration, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to do the second method, which if it doesn't automatically pop off, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start peeling away this mu metal up a lip here, so then we can effectively get to both sides of this Folga disc and potentially be able to whack it on something and remove it from the PMT. So let's go ahead and we'll start illustrating that here. So we're going to start cutting and snipping. Now hopefully we'll have some nice dikes for you to use this for, so just kind of cut as best as possible. And you want to do this about 1 centimeter a piece, so it gives you enough room to peel away at. And go ahead and feel free to just kind of pry it down, as you see there. And we're going to do this all the way around it, but just to kind of show you where we're going here, I'm just going to go ahead and start peeling this away like a little sardine can. And we're going to want to do this all the way around this front side and all the way along the back side as well, so we can get to both sides of this Folga disc here. Straight here in a second. So I'm going to start peeling off this RTV all the way around here. We're going to see if this Folga disc might not pop off for us. That way we don't have to go through all of the steps here. We'll cut away at this here. Now you can see I'm just cutting right along the top of it. And you don't have to worry about scratching that PMT because we're replacing it because it's bad. So, oh, and it looks like he's going to pop off for me. Oh, maybe not. Oh, there we go. So as you see, popping off just gently. Whenever that happens, once you cut it all the way around, just gently put a little bit of pressure like this and you'll rock them right off there. So, all right. All right, now at a last resort, we're going to need to deliver some blow to knock this thing off of here. So this is the time for safety glasses. So we're going to put our safety glasses on. So, well, like I said, at a last resort, if this doesn't automatically pop off, we're going to need to remove the rest of the mu metal as we have shown here. All right, and what we're going to do is we're going to twist this one sideways, and we're going to place the Folga disc on the hard surface here. All right, and then you're going to have a friend hold up the razor to the joint between the optical surface of the PMT and the Folga disc. Now I have to drop this Folga disc there. So imagine that Folga disc is still there, and we're gonna deliver a blow with this mallet right here on top of that razor to break free the Folga disc here. All right, so that process is a last resort effort, but it's something that might need to be done in this scenario. Hopefully with top paddles, you will be able to do this a little bit easier. You have the outriggers to work with there. These bottoms, it's going to be very difficult, especially if you're replacing one of these middle bottoms, to actually find something to whack this on. So you're going to be creative there. Now find yourself some alcohol. Take your PMT that is to be the replacement of the last one. Notice we have a Hamamatsu here. We're replacing burlets. What we'd like to do. We're going to clean the surface of this until it's clean. They should already be clean, but we just want to double check it. So make sure that there's nothing on the top there, and we're good to go. And back to the instrument we go with your alcohol. Now we're going to clean the optical surface of the Folga disc. So make sure that all the optical RTV is off of it. It shouldn't take much. There we go. Alright, so this is an interlude step that'll be easier done with the PMT off of the Folga. Alright, and so what we're going to do there, this is actually part of the wrapping technique. We're going to go do it now. Like I said, it's easier. So what we're going to do is we're going to clean this rubber tubing here with some alcohol. And I'm doing this with gloves on because I find that the tape sticks a lot better and you get less light leaks if you do it with gloves on, because you're not putting the oils of your hand on there. Alright, so let's see, that's pretty well undone. Alright, and so I'm going to go ahead and cut me a piece here, roughly 5 centimeters of Tedlar tape. So you see it's Tedlar tape. We're going to go ahead and peel this off here. There we are. And then we're going to fit it around here. Now, when you're doing this, you probably want it about 2 centimeters up from the edge of the stem there. You can see about 2 centimeters up and around. Alright, we're going to put it tight, wrap it all the way around here. This will help us later when we're wrapping, keep less light leaks. Alright, so that is that. We will revisit that later. You'll see how that comes into play when we start the wrapping. Alright.